Call to order the Kearney School District Board of Education meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance. Roll call, please. Matt Baker.
Here.
Here. Smith.
Here.
Christina Lindsay. Here. Chris Schweitzer.
Here.
Nick Vasquez.
Here.
Here. We have a quorum. Adopt amend the agenda.
Move to adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. So we have recognitions, and we are very excited to have the track and field teams here. Coach Hutton and Coach Carl.
Well, good evening. And Coach Hutton was unable to make it this evening. He is on a trip, and I think a couple of years back he had to, for me also, because we had a trip planned also. So, tonight, is a really special night for our girls and boys track program. We had an extremely successful season on both sides, and I think what me and Coach Hutton came out of at the end of the year was just how much fun this group of boys and girls were this entire year. It was just a lot of fun, and what he said, he texted me today, he said in 47 years of coaching, yeah, I said that right, in his 47 years of coaching, which is double what I have, this year was probably the most fun he's had, and he wanted me to make sure that he told you girls that. Yes, very much so. So, on the girls' side, girls, do you guys just want them to come up, or do you want them to stay there? Have we done in the past? Okay. I'm going to kind of skip the order here, but our first All-State athlete, this young lady has worked extremely hard in these 4 years in the throws, and we're really, really proud of how she came out this year. And our first All-State athlete is Miss Maya Sosawatu. These 4 girls in the 4x8 at the state meet ran one heck of a race. And those of you that love track, sometimes when you look at a 4x8 or the 16 or 32, you don't get too excited about it. But this is something that I and all other track coaches and people, we get really excited about, especially here at Kearney. We put a lot of pride in our 4x8s, 4x4s. Our 16s and 32s, and these 4 young ladies did a fantastic job, running in this particular meet and becoming All-State. So, Miss Daisy Burnham. Miss Elizabeth Fowler. Miss Abigail McQuillan. And Miss Jordan Vaughn. You'll notice 3 seniors standing up here, and they're four. Sorry, Maya. I was hoping you were coming back. Well, all of you, always hoping they all come back. But we have 4 seniors up here, and they all spent 4 years here at Kearney doing exceptionally well. We only had one, took a 1-year hiatus, but it's okay. We won't take that. But we're really going to miss these girls, and congratulations on a phenomenal state track meet. I'm not. You're a coach. Yeah, Photoshop. Boys State track meet went extremely well also. We finished in the top 10. We finished 8th this year. We also won our 10th straight conference championship this year, and we also won our 8th out of 10 years district championship this year. And it was, you know, there were some times where it got a little bit rocky, you know, but majority of the time these boys worked extremely hard, and they trusted their training, and they trusted their coaches, and they trusted each other most importantly. You know, at the state meet, we had a lot of different things that we had to deal with. We had to deal with weather. We had to deal with injuries from the week before, other things that took place. And the true heart of this team and the true heart of these boys really showed throughout that last 2 weeks, essentially, especially in the last week, with a lot of different things that they had to take on with the adversity, and they did a phenomenal job. And you know, in my long time of being here, this has probably been one of the more fun, and yeah, that even includes the state championship team. We had just a lot of fun working our tails off and doing the good things and doing what's asked of them. And I couldn't be more proud of this group. And looking forward already to next year. We return a lot of these young men, just looking forward to getting back to it. But here we go. Mr. Hudson Best, who couldn't make it tonight. Mr. Cameron Fowler. Was All-State in the 4x800 meter relay. Oh, and Hudson was All-State in the javelin. Mr. Henry Hoover. Henry was All-State in the discus, and let me remind you all, he is a freshman. That's impressive. Jack McCabe. Jack was All-State in the 4x100 meter relay team, and he was a part of the now school record 4x100 meter relay team. Just to talk a little bit about that relay, in all my years here, we've never taken a 4x100 meter relay team to the state meet, and this year we were able to, and we finished 4th. It was crazy. It was an amazing race, and they did a fantastic job. Mr. Atlas Owen. Atlas was All-State in the 4x800 meter relay. Mr. Reed Perkins. Reed was All-State in the 400 meter dash and also All-State in the 4x400 meter dash. Connor Reed. Connor could not make it tonight, but Connor was also All-State in the 4x8 and 4x4. Isaac Smith. Isaac Smith was All-State in the 4x800 meter relay. Cale Tucking. Cale couldn't make it tonight, but Cale was a part of that 4x100 meter relay team. Sam Way. Sam was All-State in the 4x4. He was All-State in the 4x1, and he finished runner-up in the 300 meter hurdles. Trey White. Trey, this was his first year coming out for track, and I couldn't say enough about this young man, but he was All-State in the 4x100 meter relay. I just wish I had 3 other more years with him. Congratulations, boys. You guys had a fantastic season. Congratulations for being All-State. And those of you who are returning, we'll get back at it as quickly as we can. Congratulations.
Do not leave.
And thank you, Board of Education, and all of our administration who helped and supported this great track team. Thanks again.
Thank you. You guys don't have to leave.
You're welcome to
welcome to
stay.
stay.
But you're also
You're
welcome to
welcome
leave.
to come and enjoy and hang out.
Teenagers.
You've got nothing else to do.
So long to come back and finish cutting a tree down.
Of course, it's 7 o'clock.
They were there the next morning.
I would say that
I was saying for like 1 or 2 o'clock in the
cutting the trees
morning,
last
messing
week,
around
they
my
probably
room,
compromised the integrity of it.
playing games. Until 11 and talking to
So, yeah, that's what I would say. Do we have public comment tonight?
It's been 3 days since the awesome.
Hopefully, we're cutting the tree down for sure.
I used to talk to girls how old the filming is.
We do not have any public comment tonight, so we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Bailey. I just have a couple of updates for you today. Education changes at the federal level. The Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services is now moving to the Department of Health and Human Services. So this department oversees approximately $15 billion in federal funding. So why is this important locally? Special education-related services cost close to $8 million for us to fund locally. And the district only receives about $2.5 million in revenue from state and federal sources. It just demonstrates a large federal unfunded mandate. Roughly 2/3 of that is locally supported. So again, we continue to watch that for revenue streams. Also, on the federal level, Office for Civil Rights is also moving to the Department of Justice. Education changes that are occurring at the state level. As mentioned last month, Dr. Carla Esslinger, the Commissioner of Education for DESE, retired effective June 1st. Stacy Prius has been named the interim commissioner while the State Board of Education conducts a national search. Ms. Prius previously worked for DESE and served as an executive director for the Joint Committee on Education in the Missouri General Assembly. In 2019, Ms. Prius became the Director of Policy at St. Louis University's education think tank, the Prime Center, before launching her own consulting services. And then just a brief update. We have some folks with Dr. Park's retirement. Dr. Ellie Stewart, who's not with us today, she's traveling and got caught up on the road from coming back from Columbia, is that right? So she will be transitioning to principal of Southview, so we won't be with us monthly. And also, this is Eric Nolan, our Director of Operations last meeting. So just wanted to recognize him and thank him for everything he's done.
Next, we have the consent agenda.
Move that the consent agenda be approved as presented.
Second?
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Next, we have information items. First one is future planning. Folks from Hollis and Miller, thank you for coming.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having us this evening. We won't take too much of your time, but we wanted to just take a moment to introduce ourselves and share a little bit about the process that we're going to start engaging here with the district coming up. So just quick introductions. We're going to share who we are, who Hollis and Miller is a little bit, talk a little bit about the planning process that's going to come up, and then what we're going to see coming in the next couple months. So just so you all know, my name is Kevin Nelson. I'm a partner at Hollis and Miller. I've been with Hollis and Miller now 20 years. This is my 20th year designing schools. It's something I'm very passionate about and excited to be working with the district on.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Burka. I am a client leader with Hollis & Miller and will be celebrating actually my 10th anniversary with Hollis & Miller this fall, and looking forward to working with all of you and the Kearney district as we start to process and move into this next phasing of work here.
So in addition to Hollis & Miller, we also have a team of consultants helping us. So MKEC is our civil engineering firm. RTM is our mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineer. And if we come across any structural needs throughout the evaluation processes, Bob DeCampbell's on call with our team as well. A little bit more about Hollis & Miller. If you're not familiar, we're 100% dedicated to education. So anybody that works at Hollis & Miller is working on education projects. 85% of our work is repeat business, so we're excited to bring that experience to Kearney. You can see the map on the right just shows area districts that we work with. So your peers, your neighbors, we can bring that experience to you, and that doesn't mean that their solution is right for Kearney, but it just means we have a group of experiences in the neighborhood that we can pull from. Again, we have about 100 staff here in Kansas City, so beyond Jennifer and I, if there's a project that comes up, we've got staff that we can help add to that team. When we talk about master planning, we like to use this kind of funnel because we describe this as the design process is very general to specific. So it's hard to climb out of a funnel, right? So the idea is the funnel helps us start very broad, and slowly as we work down to that solution, we're refining, we're kind of running things through the sieve to come up with the best solution. So master planning, which is what our task is here this year, is at the top. Very broad, big picture ideas, big picture discussions with the district.
So looking at what that master planning process really starts to look like, and this will be the items that occur over the next few months, and we will give those updates to you as each step concludes, and that brings of a value to present to all of you. But we're looking at a 4-step process. Obviously, we're still in step 1, which is game planning. We're getting ready to conclude that. As Kevin had mentioned, we have those consultants on board. We've had discussions of what sort of assessments we want to happen across the district. And so we're easing our way into that step 2, which is collecting the data. That involves our teams going into the buildings, doing assessments. We'll be looking at the building exterior, interior. We'll look at athletic fields. We're going to look at parking lots. We're going to look at your mechanical systems, your kitchens, all of those different entities that really make the foundation for the building. And so when we come back to you with that report, that will be where we jump into that 3rd step, which is exploring options. So it'll give you all of that information, all of that backbone to make those critical decisions. And in that process of exploring options, we want to bring that not only in front of you, the board, but also be able to have community engagement and have opportunities that we get to hear from your community, whether it's a parent, a faculty member, a student, or just someone who lives in the Kearney district themselves. And so being able to take all of that information, we'll be able to do that master plan deliverable for you. And so that is what you see in that 4th and final stage, which is adopting the best plan that works the best for Kearney. Like Kevin mentioned, we've done lots of different master planning opportunities in different districts. Each one is different, and we want to make sure that we are getting those important and critical steps right for you. And so that will be in that process as we move through this over the next few months, and then again have that final deliverable with the plan moving forward. So stakeholder engagement, like I mentioned, is a very important part of this process. And so we want to work with you on who needs to be involved and making sure voices are heard. We know that if someone is given the opportunity to voice their concerns or to be able to bring forward issues or things that they see, whether it is their child's school or a neighborhood building, things like that, we find that there's value and we want every voice to be heard. And so we'll start to define what those stakeholders groupings look like, how we engage with them, what that starts to look like, and we'll be building more in depth with Dr. Miller and the team as we start to move forward over the next couple of weeks and months. But this will really start to define that deliverable and help to give us that general sense of community engagement. Like I said, this isn't something that we just run with in a couple weeks. It does take a little bit of time, and so what you're seeing on the board here is that master planning schedule. And so really this is going to take us through the end of this year. We anticipate being able to have those multiple touch point opportunities, having the ability to present those updates to you as well, and to really be able to make sure we get that comprehensive report available to you and to make those right choices moving forward. We wanted to keep this brief, but we are welcome any questions or thoughts you may have, as we know you've got a lot on your agenda this evening as well.
Any questions? Thank you all for coming. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
we
you
look
all.
forward to it.
Thank you. Next, we have bond project update. We get to hear from you one more time.
Maybe multiple times tonight.
One more night, okay.
So to keep you updated on the summer projects, which are tied to the 2022 bond, They are all underway, and for the most part, all are about where they expected to be at this time, with the exception of Southview's roof, which has had some weather days, and they're have slipped a little bit behind. They have finished the entire library section of the decking and a portion of the shingle roof on the north side. So these pictures are from last Friday, and the top two pictures on the left and the right are essentially just preparing the hallways and the cafeteria for epoxy flooring at Hawthorne and Kearney Elementary. So we are Wednesday, and so Hawthorne has a great majority of the epoxy already poured in their school, and Kearney Elementary will have that started by the end of this week. So those are outdated pictures. The middle school exterior wall, what you see there is where the panels will be is blackened. That is an air barrier and weather barrier, and the panels are actually on site finally after almost 2 years. But they are ready to go up, and they suspect by middle of next week that those panels will be on. Middle school small gym had an area of damaged sheetrock that has been there for a while, and now that we have a new roof over it, we asked them to take care of that, and so that is the picture in the middle on the right. And then the two bottom pictures are just of the shingled area that's in the far northeast corner of the school. So on that Southview project, they will move from the Library Media Center, and they will continue to shingle that all the way in because it's got all four sides that had to be redecked. That ties into all the other sections on that half of the building. So they will continue to shingle that. At the same time, they're going to move on to the music room, entryway, cafeteria, and onto the gym with the decking portion of that. They don't anticipate that they will be completely done with everything shingle-wise when school starts. So the plan will be is to make sure that the decking portion is done by the time school starts and come back with shingles, which would be less invasive, and they would do that after hours and on off days should that happen. Any questions on those projects? Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have financials. Gwen?
Good evening. Good evening. Yes, financials. I am going to take just a few minutes to dive just a little bit into this report. You will see that there are four groups of numbers: revenue, expense, and I thought I would point out one of the numbers, one of the rows that I really like to focus on to see where we're at, how we're doing, and that's the row at the very bottom of the group, which is current year to prior year, either an increase or a decrease. And so I want to know, okay, based on where we ended up last year, are we trending reasonably to this year? And so as I start to move my way across, just looking at that first column, operating fund, revenue, you'll see that it's up about $175,000. That seems reasonable. We had an increase in our assessed valuation this year, so it should be going up. And then you slide over to Fund 2, special revenue. It's up $604,000. Well, the formula SAT did increase from 6750, not going to 7145, but it's up. And so most of that revenue is hitting there. So those two numbers combined, up $800,000, seems reasonable. Okay? Slide over to the debt service fund. Wow, it went up almost $450. Is that reasonable? Well, when you think about our assessed valuation did go up, and then the tax rate did not go down. It's still 1.1902. It's been that way for 10 years. It makes sense that a significant amount of revenue came in for debt service fund. Slide over to the bond fund. You stop and go, wow, we're down $1.1 million in revenue. Well, as the projects have been completed, that means we have less cash in the bank. Less cash in the bank means a lot less interest. So most of that decline is just interest earnings, which is totally to be expected as you spend down your bond proceeds. Capital projects also in Fund 4 on the end. If you look at the difference in revenue and then drop down to expense, it's pretty much a wash. Nothing significant there. Then, if you drop down to the expenses for each of those funds, start off operating fund, almost $2 million increase versus last year. Well, we did give raises, things went up. Not totally surprising, but that number does seem a little on the high side. So I investigated. There is currently a temporary transfer into into Fund 5, our self-funded plan, that of $610,000 that we will be putting back in the month of June. So that number's inflated by $610,000. Go over to special revenue. Again, we gave our teachers raises. That number's going to go up. So when you add the two together, subtract off $610,000, we're up about $2 million in our operating funds. Plus $800,000 on the revenue side, plus $2 million on the expense side, that nets out to about $1.2 million, okay? Expenditures exceeding revenue, $1.2 million. Well, when you put that into percentages, wow, to deficit spend $1.2 million is probably going to drop your ending cash balance close to 3%. Well, when you look at what we're projected currently on this sheet is at 19%. That's 3% less than last year. So it totally fits. So that's kind of my cross check to make sure the numbers are in line. Debt service fund, you'll see that current year expenditures are down 4.3. That's because we forward paid a bunch of debt last year. Bond, that's just your bond projects. We spent out more in bond projects last year than we did this year. And again, capital projects is a wash. Dropping down to the last two groups of numbers, looking at specific programs. The Nutrition Services Fund, revenue's up $136,000. Wonderful. That's to be expected. We increased meal prices. Dropped down, though, and expenditures were up $233,000. That caught me off guard, so I investigated that number. It turns out, and I'll use this a lot, timing is everything. Last year, there was a delay in one of the invoices that came in, so it hit late. Well, the good news is that's already on the books. We're back on schedule this year. So this year's number is actually higher than last year's number because those two payments aren't accounted for. So really, when you back that off, we're doing much better on the expenditure side, and overall, nutrition services is doing pretty good. Activity fund, wow. Revenue is up almost $200,000 more than last year. A lot going on there. And expenditures only up 25. So activity funds actually had a wonderful year so far, and I anticipate it to wrap up that way. Before and after school services, if you look at the increase, plus 50, almost 52,000 on the revenue side, plus 64 on the expense side, pretty close to a wash. Nothing shocking there. Puppy pound, we did have revenue went down 80,000. That was mainly due to decrease in enrollment. We didn't have near the numbers we did the year before. The good news is, though, on the expenditure side, it's down 32,000. So we were able to save some on the expense side. Won't go into the self-funded plan because we'll talk about that when we get to the budget message. Then when you slide all the way to the right, and I've been sharing ending cash balance percentages. One thing I like to look at is, okay, the second from the right column is where we were at in May, and then the far right column is where we ended up at the end of the year. So just a quick glance at, okay, May to June, May to June, May to June. You'll see that in most years it's dropping 14, 15%, okay? This year it's only dropping 11%. That seems maybe a little aggressive, but some things were delayed. I do think that there's going to be more revenue hitting in the month of June so that we can get to that 19%. So, but overall, it kind of falls in line with prior years. So anyhow, that's that's how I try to analyze those numbers. Hopefully that's a little better insight, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. And next, we have the 26-27 proposed budget.
So I'm going to just start off, and then Doug and I will probably tag team this a bit. Really, this is being presented to you as an item of information. Normally, at this time of the year, we would be seeking approval of the budget, but there are a lot of variables, and to no surprise, right? We talk about this every month, and so really, one of the things we were presenting this as an item of information, just to get your eyes on it. We do think these numbers are going to change. We will be having a special session on July 29th at 7:30 to finalize the budget at this time. But again, we wanted to give you the opportunity to look at the information, ask questions, and we will update as quickly as we can and provide you that information. We know that Clay County at this point is still continuing to hold quite a bit of our local revenue, roughly 12%, we think, roughly $400,000 out of operating funds, roughly $150,000, $160,000 for debt service funds. We know the SAT has been projected to be at $6,900. Again, there might be some good news there. I'll let Doug share that here in a little bit. So again, as Doug mentioned just about 30 seconds ago, timing is everything. So we're going to allow as much time to pass so that we can formalize this budget, wrap things up, and also project into next year the best we can. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Doug.
All right. Well, what I did today was I went through the document and I highlighted some things of note. So if, I think what we'll do is go ahead, if you skip down to page 7, 7 is the operating budget, Fund 1 and 2. The one thing I just highlighted, it's very consistent over the years. We're dependent on local revenue, right? We've said this many times, 64% of the district's revenue is local, and then 31% is from the state, okay? Next thing I highlighted on page 8, fiscal year 26 state revenues fell substantially short in the areas of gambling, lottery, and tobacco sales, resulting in an approximate a loss of, SAT only coming in at 6,900. With that being said, so news fresh off the press literally hours ago, got the DESE email update, and they are now projecting the final SAT payment will be $69.58. $69.58. So what does that mean to us in terms of dollars? Well, obviously, we don't get the full $71.45 or the full $6,900. We get a little over $3,000 of that. An increase of 58 translates to about $200,000. So when we talk about ending cash balance, that's almost 0.5%. So very good news. We should actually be getting the payment notices later this week so that we truly know what's hitting the bank. I'll feel much better when I see the deposit slip on those tax revenues and know we got it. But that's what they're reporting as of this afternoon.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
We're on page 8. So the other part to that paragraph, when we look at the SAT, I think it's important to look at the 20-year trend of the state adequacy target. It has only increased 11.2% over 20 years. When you compare that to inflation, CPI has risen roughly 60%. At the national level. So I think it's really important. I think we will hear, well, we've continued to increase state funding. That is true, but you also have to track it to what's happening with inflation. And I think that's the gap in the information that we don't always hear. So I just want to make sure that you had that information.
Excellent point. All right. And then I think I'll skip up to the tax rate, page 11. Very important to point out, we are the lowest, and quite honestly, it's not even close. Our tax rate for 25-26 is 4.4179, And as you look at the list of our peers in the area, it looks like the next closest is about 4.7. So when we start talking about a 30-cent gap between the second lowest district in comparison, 30 cents is, I went back and looked, every 10 cents is about 510,000. So a 30-cent gap is a little over $1.5 million. $1.5 million, if you were able to put that on our budget, that's the equivalent of a 3% swing on your ending cash balance. So that is very significant as we move forward and talk about a future bond issue and what that might look like. So just know we are the lowest, and it isn't even close, okay? Which is good for taxpayers. Continuing on, page 12, at the top of that page, I highlighted the end of the last sentence there. It has declined by approximately 92 cents in the last 13 years, almost $1 decrease in the last 13 years. Great for taxpayers. And then dropping down, did want to point out the implementation of Senate Bill 190 has resulted in a reduction of approximately $230,000 in operating and then another $160 in debt. So Senate Bill 190 continues to impact us more than our neighbors. And then as we move to page 13, district expenditures, I was just going to point out, we've said this before, 75% of the budget is people. So if you're going to make a big difference with your budget, you got to think about raises, you got to think about how many staff you have and how many staff you got going into the future. So, and that's not even included, there's another 5% that we're paying in staff for contractually, whether it be food service, special ed services, transportation. Yep. So big chunk of our budget. Page 14, you'll see the chart, the line chart at the bottom. You'll see that the purple line is what the final number came in at. There for several years, almost a flat line. And then had a nice little peak. I believe most of that was due to the COVID dollars that were flowing in. Helped artificially inflate the budget a little bit. As those numbers got spent down, you will see we've kind of had a steady decline since then. So, and this is the first year, fiscal year 26, is looking to be our first year under 20% in quite some time. Not forever, but for several years.
Also on that page, budgetary milestones, if you look at FY '26, I just want to point out, this is probably the third year, and Zach, correct me if I'm wrong, where we've really tried to right-size staff, and we've really tried to laser in and through attrition, reduce positions. And it's approximately between 900,000 and 1 million positions that we have reduced so that we can redirect that into compensation. So again, we're trying to be wise with our resources, but also try to support our staff. Thank you.
Absolutely. Page 15, debt service fund 3. Was just going to point out the payments we have coming up this year, just over 6.1 million. You will see, and it's not unusual to see those payments grow a little bit because usually you'll get a little bit more in assessed valuation. And so hopefully your growth will keep up as the payments increase. So that to me looks like a very normal debt service schedule as we look out to the future years. But 10 more years, if we didn't issue any more debt, we'd be debt free. That's obviously not a reality, but that's today's schedule. Next page, 16, the Capital Projects Fund, Fund 4. It's, I thought it was very important to note that second short little paragraph under revenue. There has been no fund transfer, although historically we made transfers from general to Fund 4. It hasn't happened since fiscal year 22. The last time it happened, we moved almost $1 million. So it would sure be nice to get back to that stage at some point in time in the future. Otherwise, we're reliant solely on bond proceeds to keep up with our deferred maintenance. Not the most ideal source of revenue because now you're paying interest on those funds versus cash. Cash is king, all right? Let's see. Next page, 17, our lease purchase. Just pointing out, we got 4 more years on the lease for this building, and it'll be paid off. So we're getting really close. That'll be nice. And then page 18, the budget summary. I wanted to point out, as I was putting the numbers together, I found I kept wanting to be more and more conservative. So when you notice and I mentioned in an update that it was looking at a little over 16% for this year. I don't think we're going to get anywhere near that. And I'm confident in less than 2 weeks when I report back on the 29th, you'll feel much better. So don't be scared by that number. I went extremely conservative as I was filling in the various object codes and function codes, trying to assemble everything, but the numbers made me pause, but I know I was conservative. One thing I was going to point out, this budget is built on, right in the middle of page 18, it's that very last bullet point under revenue, SAT dropping from 6,900 to 6,800. Well, we got the good news. We think it's going to be 6,958. Then the question is, will it only drop to 6,858? I don't know, but these numbers are built on 6,800. So hopefully we will get a little bit higher. I think we've been on the conservative side so that we don't get a year-end surprise like this one. And then under expenditures, just was going to point out, you can see the bullet points there. We are providing staff with step column increases. We are trying to shore up Fund 5, and I'll talk about that in a second, by moving in $465,000. That was mentioned in a prior board meeting. And then we've got some planned expenditures as far as long-range planning, facility assessments, and even an enrollment demographic study that we hope to do. And the good news is we can use bond dollars. We do have some savings that's coming back from Newkirk Novak, some contingencies they were holding on to. So there is money there to help pay for those. So it won't be coming out of operating funds, which is good. And again, that last bullet point, which Dr. Miller mentioned, we are diligently looking anywhere and everywhere where we can trim, save, and cut costs, and that's an ongoing process. I'm not going to jump into all the details tonight of those numbers because they're preliminary. That will be on the 29th, and the numbers are going to change. I'm going to warn you, they're going to get better. But I will real quickly in closing show you Fund 5. If we go to page 21, the numbers, was just going to point out, you'll see actual 24-25 was our first year. I did list the budget for 25-26 and where the forecast is for 25-26. Probably the only real surprise there, stop loss, we had a bigger number than we should have there, okay? So revenue is coming in less than what we anticipated. When the budget was put together, we were hopeful if we had a good year, we could be building the net difference at the bottom by just a little bit. The reality is you can see that this forecast shows us at 200,000. We have gotten some good news recently. We've gotten some checks come back for stop loss. I firmly believe that 200,000 could be 500,000 by our next meeting. So we're watching that number real closely, and it should climb up. And again, I'm not going to take you into all the reports at the very end. There's a lot of numbers there, but if you see numbers that stand out to you, be prepared to ask those questions. can ask them tonight. I can dig in and get some answers for you, but we will take a little deeper dive on the 29th with those numbers when they're firm. I hate to spend too much time on assumptions, but as they firm up, the picture will be much clearer on the 29th. Much, much clearer. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have this evening.
At this point, what is our difference in FTE for 25, 26, and 26, 27 projected to be?
Student count.
No, our employee.
Oh, staff. I think overall, we're looking at a little over a 10
I was thinking. Is
decrease.
that about the, so it's still
Yeah.
about the same as it was?
Yeah.
About 10, okay.
We should be under 480 this year. I can give you the exact amounts. I know that we've reduced 43 positions in the last 4 years. And like Dr. Miller said, I was about closer to, 900,000 this year, but I believe it was 1.5 and then 1 before.
Okay.
Let me,
No, that's okay. That's close enough.
We
That's
can,
fine.
we can put in an update. Yeah. Okay.
All righty. Well, thank you so much.
Next, there's a written evaluation from the parent, family, and community involvement. Any questions about that? Right. Next, action items. Policies.
Move to rescind effective July 1st, 2026, and readopt effective July 1st, 2026, board policies I-125P and S-100P as presented today.
Second?
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Clay County Children's Fund.
I'm going to speak about this tonight.
Wait till we have a motion, please.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm excited.
Slow. Move to
Ready to go.
approve the agreement with Clay County Children's Fund as presented.
Second?
Thank you. I'll be patient. I'm going to speak about this tonight. However, Dr. McMains has kind of been the point person this previous school year, so feel free to chime in if you'd like. We were able to apply for a 2-year grant. As in previous years, it's broken out into 2 years. So every 2 years, we can apply for this grant, and we receive the same funds as we received in the previous 2-year grant cycle. You can also see how we spend the money and really dove into the costs and how we program for students, all students, but really some of those in that tier 3, and how we help provide them with services that our current staff cannot. So we essentially look at, we looked at that in the MTSS team charter process that we talked about earlier this school year in a couple of board updates and work sessions, and really got down to exactly what Kearney School District students need and match those up with students at the appropriate level. So that was with staff input and lots of different people from different roles in the on the staff, and I feel like we were able to provide a streamlined budget, and just seeing if you guys had any questions about that.
If this went away for whatever reason, is this something we would still provide? If in the event that it went away, is it something, well, it's a core function, we would have to figure out how to do it? Or is this something that we only do because of the Children's Service Fund?
That's a kind of different question, because I think that's what that MTSS team tried to do, is take a look at what are the core functions that our students and staff need. Professional development is one of them, so that we also have professional development funds, so if we needed to make a shift, we certainly could. Our screening, which I'm going to talk about in the next item, we drastically cut our expenses in screening to be able to do a couple of things, and I'll talk about that soon. Some of the services that we have above and beyond what our school staff can do may look a little different, and it might look like repurposing some of our current staff into different roles, but that would be something that we have some time to take a look at again this next year and then the following year, since we have a 2-year grant cycle. But that was the goal of that team, and we are starting with administrators, counselors, and social workers to continue that work for MTSS. So what that team has been charged with is what is the core function of what we need for our students, how can we build our staff, And then at the end of the day, like, what is the best fiscally responsible way to take care of that?
I think there's some aspects of what we're currently funding through the grant we would want to retain. I think some of the universal screening that we've talked about, some of the professional development, just like Valerie mentioned, some of the pass-through, the connection to individual therapies, we would not continue to take that on, right? That's not our core mission. However, we're a great conduit for students to get access for those services. And I do think we do a lot of early intervening just because we have students, we have children.
Just trying to think through, we have budget challenges. And I'm just trying to make sure that we're using our funds that are helping us address those budget challenges the best we can. I understand it's not our money to do whatever we want with. I understand that. But just making sure that if there's a way we can use additional funds to help ensure that, we can keep our taxes the lowest and continue to provide the service we do. I think that's something that we ought to be thinking about with these funds. I worry that I just worry the way that they have rolled out, that someday they could roll away or change and we not be prepared for it. So I just hope we think about it in those terms.
So what I think I hear you saying is this core list is almost like prioritizing what needs to happen. So even like maybe not potentially worst case scenario that it goes away, but as it potentially reduces, if that number gets lower, then we know what has to be
Yes, here's the first
left
layer we
first.
peel away.
Right, so we're building that now. That was always my concern of making sure we had a clear list of this is the priority, and as long as we have, we're gonna continue, and if not, we'll make changes, but we're being proactive as opposed to reactive and having to scramble if that happens.
Agreed, yes. Yep.
And Mr. Clint, with the money, the one thing that we have looked at is, 'cause our major expense that, Doug briefed us on earlier is people. They don't allow us to use it to provide salaries for existing staff. We have to use contracted services, which is a little bit of a handicap for us there. What we would like, because we could essentially impact the budget greatly if that was allowed. That's a little bit of our obstacle there.
Any questions? Okay, are we ready to vote? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Renaissance Learning Agreement?
Move to approve the agreement with Renaissance Learning Incorporated as presented.
Second?
All right, this is an extension of what we just discussed. We took a look at the MTSS team level to really look at what we were surveying our students on and what would fit our students and what we need to get together for information. And we took a look at, instead of perceptual data, looking at missing skills and matching those to interventions for students who might need that. So this Savers, I believe, was in a board update recently, that this was something that team had landed on. We were able to get at a specifically extremely low cost, but get maybe more streamlined data, and it also can be done with, I guess, progress monitor throughout the year. So for our students who need that touch points with data, just like we do with academics, we can do that with this at a cost of, with a 3-year cost that's even lower than a 1-year for the Panorama survey platform.
Can you talk about how it looks different when it's implemented? Or is it the same, or?
Yes, it is still a screener that comes to students and staff that is at beginning and end of the year, and it is still provided with parents the opt-out information and choice. But then also it has a data warehouse where we can go in and take a look at students, like their own survey information, and teachers as well, to see if they match. And we can also see if there's students who need specific interventions, and that's why we're also getting some professional development in BIST, which really looks at missing skills. So our progress monitor and screener is going to match our professional development, which is going to be really streamlined and exciting, because our teachers, our social workers, counselors, and administrators are going to know when they see a student who has specific needs exactly what to do with them and how to intervene. So it's going to look pretty similar. It will change a little bit in different platforms, obviously.
I will say the panorama survey, it's quite a bit more extensive, and it really kind of focuses on student perceptual data, where Sabreverse really focuses in on what are my skills? Am I strong in this area? Do I have missing academic skills, social skills, emotional skills? So I think that's the difference between the two.
And like with Panorama, we had the ability to do a little bit of plug and play. Is that right? Like we could pick what we wanted, or to a certain extent, could we manipulate that? Can we do the same thing with this?
We had the ability, no, we do not. These are normed questions.
Okay.
And so Panorama, the district could elect to choose different banks of questions.
And do we get this great deal 3 years later when the 3 years are up, or?
That's really how much that's the difference in the cost. And we
Okay.
had all the vendors in, I think we had 4 or 5 vendors to come and present to us. And the cost was a deal maker, but it was also, the product itself was more streamlined, simplistic. When you get into Panorama, it's seems user-friendly, but it's really very complicated. You can get to the same data maybe 6 different ways, whereas Sabres, it's straightforward, it's right there, and very easy.
User-friendly. Do we have a high opt-out rate on this? On the Panorama?
Let me get back to you on the Panorama opt-out. We haven't obviously gotten the information about this measure, but I can get the opt-out rates for you.
All right, ready to vote? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Next, we have the salary schedules for 26-27.
Move to approve the administrative, professional, certified, classified, extra duty, and miscellaneous salary schedules along with step and column movement for the 2026 and 2027 as presented.
Second?
So we're asking approval for the administrative professional salary schedule, the classified salary schedule, certified, extra duty, and miscellaneous pay rates. Essentially, almost all these schedules, save the classified, have remained the same for this next fiscal year as they were this year. The classified salary schedule was adjusted to accommodate for the grounds, maintenance, and custodial work calendar change, and some of those columns had to be adjusted. But essentially, the salaries and wages are remaining the same as they were this year. Any questions about any of these schedules?
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Employee manual.
I move to approve the 2026-2027 employee manual as presented.
Second?
Employee manual, you guys received a few updates and some board updates prior. Again, minimal changes, name changes, page numbers, some dates in there. But no, and then whatever policy changes that we've adopted for this next year, that Ed Council recommended the change and updated those. Besides that, the manual is essentially the same as it was this last year.
This is the first year in a while, that's good. Yeah. These have undergone lots of reviews, so that's great, which it needed to happen. So I'm sure you guys are glad to, maybe not coast, but to.
It was a enjoyable process this year.
There you go. All right. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Student parent handbooks.
Move to approve the 2026-2027 student parent handbooks as presented.
Second?
Very similar story to the employee manual. I would like to give a lot of credit to our assistant principals. We started working on these in December and going through these piece by piece, really focusing on the discipline at first, and then got the discipline section, and then going on to the rest of the policies. Again, name changes, page number, date updates, and then whatever policy changes that came from that council. Applied. Any questions?
All right. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. The activities handbook.
Move to approve the 2026-2027 activities handbook as presented.
Second?
Activities handbook has been updated with all the required mandates and state statutes regarding participation. Everything else has remained the same. Anybody have any questions about our activities manual?
All right, all in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Raptor?
Move to approve the agreement with Raptor Technologies as presented.
Second?
Mr. Nolan?
So this is asking for approval to continue with Raptor Alert Technologies for emergency alert app and their drill management system. This is the same type of agreement that we've had for the last 3 years, with the exception of now it's going to cost us $71.50 because the state of Missouri canceled their commitment to fund that for the 4th year. So it serves a purpose for our staff and getting emergency alerts out, and we feel it is an asset to us. So Ryan, Adam, and myself looked at several other companies to see what else was out there, and price-wise, Raptor is right in the sweet spot for us. I mean, it went all the way up to 10 times what Raptor is charging for some of these other companies, and we went with a 1-year contract instead of a 3, which they proposed to start with, because it gives us a little flexibility for DESE to kind of streamline some of their requests within Senate Bill 68 over the next year, in case they do start to mandate push-button cards that, for teachers, which is talked about throughout the state. So we think it's the best fit for us.
Questions? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Waste Management Company?
Move to approve the agreement with Waste Management Company of Missouri Incorporated as presented.
Second?
So our trash and recycling contract was up for renewal after 5 years. We put it out to bid and had 3 companies send in proposals. By far, the lowest proposal was our current vendor, Waste Management Corporation. They also reduced what they would charge going forward on overages and contamination, and it certainly saves us money down the road, as well as not having to pay fees to change out bins both ways when they take them out and bring them back in. So,
Eric, how big of a problem is unauthorized people putting things in our waste containers, if you will, and is that costing us more money because of that?
it is.
Is it
Is it in every school? Is it all over the place?
Is it Nick? No.
Yeah. Is it?
We see quite a bit of community waste going in there, particularly at Christmas, Thanksgiving, graduation, all those things where people come to drop those things off.
Is the cost to us enough that we should think about trying to make those more secure, for lack of a better word there?
That it,
Potentially.
yes, and potentially it is. Over $10,000 some years.
Yeah.
My back door used to look out on the one at the middle school, so there's a lot. There's a lot. Okay, any other questions? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. All right, lunch prices, 26-27.
Move to approve lunch prices for the 2026-2027 school year as presented.
Second?
Okay, each year, DESE requires the school board to approve lunch prices, meal prices for the school district. The USDA provides a paid lunch equity tool to plug some numbers into, and it spits out a target price for us. This year, the target price was $4.16, that they would think that would fit our financials to get us to a break-even point. The most that we can move any meal up, or the most we can move our lunch prices is 10 cents per year. So that's what we're recommending, that we move up lunch and breakfast 10 cents and milk 5 cents this year. We've talked with Surrounding districts, we're right in the 92 corridor is within 5 cents of each other on all those meals. So
Eric, he said that you put numbers in and it spits out a number that is supposed to get us to break even on lunch. Do we ever audit that and see if that's actually true, or?
I have not done it.
Okay.
So do we subsidize, how does all that work? I don't understand it.
I don't think we have the ability to move beyond the 10 cents.
10 cents anyway.
So it's not like we will go through an evaluation and move at 40 cents. Yeah, so we're limited.
Okay. We gonna let him eat? Raise your hand.
We will.
Do you approve? Opposed? Thank you.
No food for you.
There's a tool that tells us what
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's to give people guidance, and maybe if they're not in our boat where we're so far behind and you always have to move it up 10% or 10 cents to even, if you don't, you lose that opportunity to gain. Because there are some schools that I'm sure are right there at there. I know that there are because in our comparison chart, some of the bigger suburban schools do have their lunch prices set at that dollar amount. It's up, in the $4, $4.50. But they've obviously had that there for a significant amount of time and haven't had to try to catch up.
All right, thank you. Next is McConnell purchase.
Move to approve the over $50,000 purchase from McConnell Associates as presented.
Second?
So asking for an approval of PO for over $50,000 with McConnell, who has been our go-to for asphalt and concrete analysis. And this year, looks like we've spent some time trying to take this down to just what we think are the bare essentials, so we don't have to play catch-up in the next couple of years of $211,768 to take care of our needs this year.
Is most of this work at the high school?
It is not.
Is not. Which building is it?
It is a splattering. There's middle school work, there's Kearney Elementary work, there's South Campus Drive or Pride Parkway, Southview High School. And it's in Dogwood.
Go everywhere.
Other questions? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Heartland Business Systems.
Move to approve the agreement with Heartland Business Systems as presented.
Second?
You've received updates regarding this, and really we have 3 longtime contracted staff members that have worked with Heartland Business Services. This is really providing liquidated damages so that we can actually employ them as KSD staff members. Ryan did a great assessment, over 3 to 4 years. We will break even, if not to the better. So that's our recommendation today.
Questions? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Agreement with Jot Form.
Move to approve the agreement with Jot Form Incorporated as presented.
Second?
Good evening. We have had generally a pretty positive experience with Qualtrics. It's a great platform, has a lot of width and depth, but the question that I had as we were coming into this final year of our contract with them was whether it is the right tool for the work that we are doing, and my answer was no. So working with my colleagues, we took a look at our options, and in the end, JotForm seemed like it really is going to be the best platform for us for the kinds of things that we're using it for. It will also help a little bit with the work that we're doing with our budget and finance, so I'm trying to do my small part in that regard.
Great. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Board member comments? Do I have anything? Okay. I had the opportunity to attend the MSBA Summer Summit this last Monday, I guess just a couple days ago. A lot of talk about a lot of the same things that we're talking about, how finances at the federal, or not so much the finances, but the changes at the federal level, what's going on with DESE, issues related to funding and the different legislation at the state level and county level. So lots of discussions that affects everybody in the state a little bit differently, but the one thing that I found out for sure that it's affecting everybody. And it's been kind of on our plate. For a while, we started talking about it, but I felt like the pressure cooker was a little bit higher than some of the more recent meetings that I've been to. So it was really good. And I went to a presentation by one of the finance folks, the chief finance person for MSNBA in terms of educating us, Linda Quinley, and heard a really good presentation from her. And so I'm really excited that she will be joining us at our workshop. So anyway, I would urge all of us to keep paying attention to those things, the legislative updates that we receive, because I think it's going to be at the top of our mind as we look ahead for our future. And then the last thing, just on behalf of the board, Mr. Nolan, you have done wonderful work the last few years, transitioning from a building role to a central office role, and always on top of everything to manage our bond projects and all the work that you put in. We truly, truly appreciate that, and we wish you weren't going, but wish you well in your retirement. Thank you. Important dates. Last day of summer school coming up next week. We will have a year-end board meeting at 7:30 a.m. on June 29th. The district is closed for July 4th holiday on July 2nd and 3rd. Our next board meeting is on July 15th, but we also have a day-long board work session that day. Miscellaneous.
Action for closed session to immediately precede the regular meeting in July, including any record or vote to discuss items and issues allowable under Section 610-021 of the Missouri Sunshine Law.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Matt Baker?
Yes.
Jason Clark?
Aye.
Jake Klingsmith?
Yes.
Christina Lindsay?
Yes.
Bree Switzer?
Yes.
Nick Vaskus?
Yes.
Arlene Bailey?
Yes. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Freaking notes.